there, I'm Trevor.
And I'm Jessica, and on this episode of Somewhere in the Middle, we're making our second HelloFresh meal.
That's right. In this episode, we're going to make black bean and green pepper burritos. So stay tuned and see how we make this meal as well as enjoy it. Let's go.
So today we have our second HelloFresh meal, and today we're doing the black bean and green pepper burritos. They look good. The added protein is you can add a ground beef or a ground turkey, so I'm actually adding ground beef, and I'm doing a Beyond Beef supplement, so we have 2 protein supplements to add. It's only 1 burrito per person, so I want to make sure it's hearty. So I did this time read over the whole directions first, so let's see if this goes a little smoother because I had a few hiccups last time. So to get started, I already had my proteins cooking over here. I have a Beyond Burger in this pan. I've got its own spatula. And then I've got a beef over here, a ground beef, and they're both frozen. And so if you are short in time like I always am, you just put it in frozen, you put it on low, put a cover on it, and then keep flipping it and scraping off. And you can actually defrost it pretty quickly and cook it at the same time. But you want to make sure that you keep mixing it, right? Grinding it up too. You just flip it, and then you take the defrosting cut off. You just keep going, and it doesn't take very long. You can actually defrost the whole thing. So I've had that on already. And I just want to point out that because I'm adding that, I want to make sure it has seasoning. This came with seasoning, but it's for the peppers and the black beans. So I'm probably going to use some of this original McCormick taco seasoning or this organic one. So this one I'm going to use for the vegans because this one, if you notice on back, it says it's processed in it with dairy, right? And they're vegan, so we don't have dairy. So I'll use this for the meat, the beef, and this one is not, happens to be vegan for the vegan one. All right, so I have my veggies that need to be processed. We have some peppers I need to slice up. I have some onions that we also need to slice up. I have tomatoes that need to be diced, and I have limes that I need to zest, and cilantro I need to chop. So I'm going to do all of that. Also, I have the rice ready to go in my rice cooker over here. I prefer to cook my rice in a rice cooker. It gives you instructions to cook it on the stove, but I just like my handy dandy rice cooker. So I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to get this started prepping, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, time to do some prep work. I'm going to chop half of an onion for salsa using my chopper. My handy dandy chopper, and I'm finding, oh, takes a little bit of a hustle. But it really makes chopping so much easier. I mean, look at that. I got beautiful diced onions ready for my salsa. Let me get the cilantro out of there. I'm gonna put my salsa onions in here. I have a small kitchen, so I don't have a lot of space. So I have to make do. Now, I was hoping there was a way I could slice my onions. And there isn't, but I'm gonna try something. I am going to change out the small blade for the big blade. In the end, with the last onion, I decided to flip it around so that the cut half was on this side instead of what I was doing it the other way, and I actually ended up with some decent slices. So next time I try and do it that way. Look at that. That last one came out much better. All right, but I definitely will not do the pepper that way, although that could work for the pepper too. Hey, why not? We're trying to save time, right? So I'm going to go ahead and have these, seed them, and then I might do the same thing, use that chopper. Let's see how it goes. It said to slice these, but we're just going to dice them. What the heck? It's faster. So much faster. Okay, so there's my peppers, and you know what? I think that's cool. It'll be a nice bite-sized thing. So my onion and peppers, those are going to be diced together. And since they're going in the same pan at the same time, I can put them in the same bowl. So this is the prep work. So far, so good. I like that there's some fresh components, you know. Let's go ahead and get some lemon zest done, right? So you take your lemon or your lime, and you can use either side. Let's use this side today. And you can see what's happening is underneath, I'm also getting the lemon zest. I don't like how that's coming out in the end. Let's try and compare to this side. I'll have to look into getting a zester. If you know, comment below. That's what I'm messing up on. I mean, it kind of works. Let's see. Yeah, that got me zest too. So I'm gonna zest all my limes, and then the juices are gonna be used in my salsa. Last, I'm gonna try chopping my tomatoes using this. I'm not even gonna bother. Oh, maybe I should cut them in half at least. Let's do that. I don't want to bother taking out the stem. Oh, I love that this works. Oh my God, thank you. I hate dicing tomatoes, especially if you have a dull knife. It's the worst, and I seem to never have good knives. Once again, not a chef, but look at that. I just diced up tomatoes in seconds, so this is a winner for me so far. Now I've got my chopped onion that's going to go in there too, but I need to put half of the cilantro is set in here, so I'm just going to do this, and it said roughly chopped. I think that worked. So with our onion, and actually I should have thrown it on here because that's where salsa is going to go. Squeeze some lime. And I like a lot of lime. Some salt. I'm a salty person. I'm gonna give it a little mix. All right. Give it a little salt test. It's good. Let me clean this up and see what we do next. It's time to start making the protein. Next thing I'm going to do is start by grilling up my onions and peppers. Got my pan hot. Ooh, that's a little too much. Oh well, it'll be fine. I put the Beyond Burger in a pan, and we'll go ahead and just get this started. Ooh, it's really hot. So it says to cook these for a few minutes on their own. Oh yeah, a pinch of salt. I like it on high to get a little bit of a char. And I noticed that these long green peppers are kind of spicy. Once these are getting a little bit more translucent and cooked, I'm be adding my beans with their liquid, a veggie stock, as well as the seasoning. Bring to a simmer and cook until liquid is reduced, 5 to 7 minutes. While that's grilling up, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up my cilantro. Get it ready to make the rice. I've got my zest, I've got my limes, and just wanted to show you guys, I do know how to chop using a knife as well. And I think I probably should have done this for the salsa too, because I feel like some of the cilantro is still too good for cilantro, or for salsa, but. All right, and I wanted to finally chop for that rice. So there's my cilantro for the rice, my lemon zest, and my limes. That's what we're gonna put in this, the rice. Okay, so I've been cooking these. The onions are starting to get translucent. I'm gonna grab a pepper and try a pepper. Oh yeah, that's good. So let's go ahead and add our beans. I'm a little curious about adding the liquid to it as well, but hey, that's what the instructions say. Let's go ahead and open up our packages here. They're easy to tear open. Oh, they are, look at that. They have our seasoning. I'm not crazy about the packaging situation because, you know, try not to use plastic. So it's weird having this that's so, creating so much trash, I guess, even though a lot of it's supposed to be recyclable. 3 different servings and 3 different packages. So for a big family, I think for a party of 2, this makes more sense. All right, there's my broth. Let's go ahead and give that all a nice stir together. And remember, once I get this all mixed up, we're gonna let this simmer and let the juice go away. This is actually a pretty big serving for those burritos, so there'll be leftovers for sure, I feel like. Okay, so now I'm gonna do what I was saying, put half of this in there, because then it'll help marry the flavors together, you know? So that they don't taste like 2 separate meals. And make sure I get some of that liquid in there too. That way the taco seasoning will also add another dimension, because I'm feeling like this is lacking a little bit in seasoning, even though I have those packets, right? So let's go ahead and add Beyond Burger to that. And then you've got a nice, almost like a chili. And that's going to be the insides of our burrito. Ooh, and then tomorrow this could be burrito bowls, the topping for that, right? That just doubles up our protein now. So now we have a protein meat, with a protein veg, peppers in there, green beans, green peppers. And we are good to go. So now it's time to make my rice. I'm going to go ahead, and that's why the proteins are simmering. I'm going to go ahead and, using a fork, kind of start forking my rice out of there.
However, seeing as it's your first night and all, I suppose I'll forgive you if you forget. Who's next?
So we've got our rice. Let's go ahead and throw our cilantro on there. Throw our lemon zest on there. Or lime zest, I should say. And then let's squeeze a remaining lime juice. You know, I've always loved cilantro rice, but I've never made it before, I don't think. So this is kind of cool, something new. And let's just fluff it up. I just want to add a little bit more salt, because you know me, might as well. It looks pretty. Let's give it a little whirl. Okay, so we have our salsa, we have our rice, we have our cheese for those who aren't vegan. I have an avocado if they want to chop up big chunks of avocado. It also came with these little guacamole cups. And then this is the not vegan red pepper crema. So this contains milk, right? So we'll be using this. And then my tortillas. So in order to get my tortillas ready, I'm just going to grill them over the heat. So I'm going to grab my tortilla, the healthy portion of the bean. I'm going to add some rice. This is for the vegan, so I'll add some vegan cheese to it. Going to add some pico de gallo. I'll do half of the avocado. And then you have the vegan mozzarella, so I'm going to go ahead and add that as well. And there's the vegan version. Okay, so this is the beef one. We're going to add the cheese. We're going to add some rice. We're going to add some pico de gallo, some guacamole. I know, it looks like it was 1 crema packet per burrito per person. It's got a little messy, I'll say. That we can wrap that burrito up. Now I do have 2 more burritos to make, which I'm not making because 2 people aren't home and be leftovers also if they don't eat. But there's enough rice to go ahead and put a little bit of rice on the plate. And as the instructions show, right, you could put a lemon wedge on there and add all this stuff on there, add a little more beans on top of the rice, but I'll let people decide. And that's it. Let's see how it tastes.
Oh.
So there's black beans, Beyond Burger. There's like a long green pepper it's called. It has a little bit of a spice to it, but I cooked it and I don't think you can taste it. So hopefully it's not too spicy.
Is this rice in it?
This is it's cilantro lime rice and it's in the burrito also.
That's good.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
I like the cilantro lime rice already. I need to make that more often.
Oh,
it's pretty easy.
It's cilantro and lime.
Yeah, cilantro, lime, and salt inside of the rice. Gives it a lot of flavor. And the lime zest. And then there's a whole avocado if you guys want more avocado.
Delicious.
No,
Thank you very much.
no avocados.
That is good. I like the peppers and the onion. And the black beans.
I love the sauce.
It's really good.
You think, Mason?
No, it's good. It's good.
What'd you say?
Terrible!
Terrible.
No, I love it.
Delicious.
Better than the last one.
Oh yeah.
Better than the green bean curry.
Yeah.
I like the green bean curry, but that was kind of
I did too.
I ate it today for
Even without the shrimp.
yeah, I ate it today for lunch.
That's right.
I liked it.
And so far, HelloFresh is good. I like the flavoring. Although I added taco seasoning to this. To the beef, to the ground, Beyond Beef, and then the regular beef. So it's not just what they gave me, but it still
Also
works.
added beef. There's still two, right?
I did one beef, and then I did the same thing. The black bean, pepper, and onion is all one pan, and then I divide it in half to cook it in with the meat too. To give it all like to marry the flavors, and then I like to put it.
That is delicious. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. HelloFresh meal number 2.
Rate it what, 1 out of 5? What are we rating them?
10 out of 10. I really love the lime sauce.
The lime is good.
It's
Gives
delicious.
it that fresh kick.
I'd say 8.25.
So picky. Give it 10 out of 10.
Sometimes.
I
It's a little mushy and
I say I would eat it again.
Which makes it a 10 out of 10.
Maybe more like 7, 8, 9 in that range. You know,
7, 8,
not
9.
I think
more.
8 out of 10 is good. Texture-wise, it's a little mushy.
You know what it reminds me of? Well, eating a Chipotle burrito.
When I was making it, it felt like a Chipotle burrito because they have the cilantro lime rice there, I think, too.
You know.
Well, it costs us about $10 a person. How much does it cost to go to Chipotle and get a burrito?
Like 13 bucks. So, saving some money.
Save me a couple of dollars.
Delicious.
But those dollars are spent in your time in the kitchen.
The amount of time I spent in the kitchen. Well, I'm pretty full after eating the burrito.
Yeah. I just sucked the butt.
You just suck the butt.
Full after eating the burrito.
Yeah. Ew.
I mean, you can get chips the next day and eat this leftover with just some chips. It's almost like a chili.
And the Chipotle spin, we make a protein bowl like with salad,
That's what I was saying, the protein bowl. Yeah, you can have the salad, you can have lettuce.
lettuce and rice and everything else.
That'll be good. Yeah.
Meal number 2 of the first that we picked, or first 3. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
This is a little bit later. This is what you just watched us cook, our black bean and green pepper burritos. This is a little bit of time has passed.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
And we wanted to come back and kind of give you guys our pros and cons now that we've done our first box. We actually technically did 2 boxes, right?
We did.
2 boxes because we misordered. Or
No, we ordered 2 weeks worth, but the second box I didn't pick. The second box they randomized because I missed the picking.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. We missed the setup to pick what you were gonna do. So we've gone through the process of HelloFresh. Are we gonna continue to use the service or not? That's what the rest of this episode is about. So stick around and hear what we got to say, our pros and cons about HelloFresh. Jess, why don't you start us off with the pros?
All right. Well, I really stress out with meal planning. So it was nice not to have to meal plan.
Yeah.
That was definitely a pro. Even the week that I didn't pick what we wanted to eat, I was still pleasantly surprised. Like, it was meals that I never would have probably picked. Like, we cooked with farro and I think bulgur wheat, and I never would have chose those, but I actually really enjoyed them in the end. And they weren't
Yeah.
even that hard to cook, but I feel like I'd be scared of them on my own, and I would never be like, oh, I'm gonna cook that, you know?
Yeah.
So that was a big pro. I liked the fact that I didn't have to meal plan, and then the fact that it gave us like a variety, right? Like, of things to try, new things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not having to shop.
Yeah.
That was a pro, being able to just have everything in the fridge, knowing it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Not having to take that extra trip to the store because after work I'm tired, you
Yeah.
know, and go
Yeah.
to the grocery store, just like, oh God, no.
Oh God, no.
You know what I mean? It's just a drag.
Yeah.
So not having to do that was also really nice.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I mean, I've gone grocery shopping with you and done through that ordeal and know the mentality it takes, especially at the end of a day. I'm tired. I don't want to necessarily go to the grocery store and pick out this meal or plan a meal that not everyone's going to be excited about eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's an ongoing struggle when you got 4 kids. Even we got 3 young adults living in our house, you know, 2 kids going to college and one's a senior in high school. They all have a variety of palates. One's vegan, the other 2 are not. They don't want to eat. 2 don't, you know, it's a whole mishmash of trying to put that together.
Mhm.
And kind of adding on to what Jess said initially, the meal planning, the prepping, I know how much it affects Jess. I hear it, I feel it too. And like at the same point in time, like we all know we only got so many hours in a day and there are things that you prioritize. And when my wife asked me to meal plan or what would you like to eat, it's like the last thing on my mind. I'm like auto-tuned to like what restaurant are we gonna go to, and then I can pick off a menu. And on that level, I thought that was the best part of HelloFresh for me, was that I could just be on it and say, oh, that sounds cool. I want to try that. I want to try that, this, that, and the other. And then the other pro that I would add that I really liked was the portion control. There's sometimes like we'll make food for us and be like, oh, we're going to make leftovers, or we're going to make something for one of our kids because they'll eat it later, and then they never eat it. And then we're stuck with like 3 days or 4 days of leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
And the second day generally for me of eating leftover is like
Done.
tough.
Yeah.
Like I can admit today at lunch, I had leftovers from pasta last night, and my brain from third, fourth period before I went into like my lunch was like, go to Wiener Schnitzel, go to Wiener Schnitzel, go to Wiener Schnitzel. You don't want to eat that pasta.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat that focaccia bread again. And my brain was like, stop. You're not going to do that. You're going to eat the leftovers you had. We spent the money on the food. Why waste it? I think those realistically are the simple pros when it came to HelloFresh, was the ease of ordering, the fact that it came portion controlled out. It gave you detailed directions. I don't know that I agree that their timing is right. We may it may have taken us longer, and the meal prep part was kind of, it wasn't simple, as you've seen. And I mean, Jess does a great job setting that up for us as we're watching the last 2 episodes of this, the cooking process. But it takes a little bit longer. And maybe that took a little bit longer because you had to set up the camera or whatever. But still, it does take a little bit longer than, it's just not boom, bap, you're done.
Well, now we're on cons, right?
You just said, that I think that's kind of a good segue into cons, is the length was a little bit longer.
The prep time.
The prep time.
Yeah, the prep cook time. Yeah, I would say that it took long because you still had a lot of prep work to do. You didn't have to like prep the recipe. You didn't have to like go and do the shopping, but you still have to chop all the veggies and
cut the bags open.
Yeah, and so the prep time, it was still longer than I would have wanted. I'm tempted to try another one that comes more prepped. Yeah. Or even heat and serve. Yeah,
like X Factor, which is, from what I've heard, part of HelloFresh. Like it's part of the same company.
Yeah. And
like a couple of the YouTubers that we watch use that. The meals look good. And again, it's portion controlled. It's all the things we like, and it's just heat and serve. Yeah. And that might be a good thing to have for maybe one night a week. Yeah. Or I don't know about 2, but actually 2 might be okay. I just feel like they might pile up. We have 4 kids or 3 kids that still live in the house, and it's a busy schedule, and things happen, and
it's not possible. Listen, if there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, it's that life will not be contained. Life breaks free.
There are times, and this can be frustrating about this too, is that we plan for a meal, we're going to do this, and then it's, this, and this has happening the same day, and there's just not enough time to do all that, so we decide, let's just go get fast food or something.
Yeah, so all the packaging being like all these small packages, having to have 3 packages for one meal was kind of frustrating. And it would take up a lot of space in the fridge. And then like if you didn't want to unpack it all and like, get it all scattered around the kitchen, then you would have, your cans in there and everything, because it wasn't just refrigerated food in there. So it was like, where do you put the stuff and how do you keep it organized? And we were doing 3 meals. And so yeah, like you said, having multiple meals, you never know the schedule. I think I would have cut down to 2 meals a week. Yeah. Instead of 3, because we had some that didn't quite make it. Right. They didn't get made in time. However, the thing about possibly trying something like X Factor is that you just can heat your own individual meal and eat on your own time.
Yeah. It wouldn't be like, I mean, that would be maybe the downside, is we're putting 4 things into the oven to heat up at the same time.
Yeah. Because once again, all the packaging.
Because they're portion controlled, right?
I think if you have 2 people, it works better. But for more than 2 people, I feel like it's a little tedious in that.
Another con, and this was more on Jess's level, I think, was the price. It's, I mean, look, you're paying for a service that is doing all, speaking of the positives, the things we liked. So you were paying a little bit extra for that than if you want a meal plan on your own. And well, I could get all these products at a cheaper rate. They might not be portion controlled and all that stuff, and I think that plays into the cost there. Yeah,
you're paying almost twice as much as if you were to meal plan on your own and buy groceries. When I was doing the math of like, and I was having to add ingredients too. I kept like wanting to add to it to make it a little bit more
spicy or
flavorful, or more filling, more protein or something, because we were doing the vegan and vegetarian, and I was still subbing, some things here and there. So so it wasn't perfect. Perfect. But I think the biggest reason why I changed is just my schedule changed. I had 2 jobs. I was working, nights and weekends, and that was a problem. And right after we signed up for it, I ended up changing that. I no longer have the 2 jobs. And so now it no longer became a necessity.
Yeah.
So I think if I were to have kept the second job, I actually may have downsized to 2 meals a week instead of 3. And then it might have still worked and been worth the price at that point. But we ended up, after 2 weeks, canceling it.
We did.
And trying an app now for meal prep, because that meal prep is so stressful.
Yeah. What's the name of that?
Oh, so it's called Resimi. It was $29.99 for the whole year. And basically you can take your recipes off social media or anything virtual, or you can even type them in yourself.
New York Times puts out a thing that you see and it sounds good. Oh, you can put that recipe into Resimi, and then it gives you a detailed list of what you need.
Yeah, it gave you the grocery list. It gave you the steps, the directions. It would save some of the pictures. It was a little tedious in some senses, like you have to figure out the right kind of link to upload the recipe.
Yeah.
But once I figured it out, but yeah, that actually for me worked kind of like HelloFresh, because HelloFresh gave us the recipe card, and that was nice. Now I have to be on my phone, but that's okay because it's the recipe card on your phone.
Yeah.
But not only that, it gave me the shopping list. And so I like to try to do some online shopping when I don't have time to shop. So on Sunday, I could kind of Resimi it up, figure out what recipes I like. The family can share recipes they want to eat too. It's not just me. All they have to do is send me the link, which I thought was cool. And so I think for $29.99, it's a really good, it's like an assistant kind of, right?
Yeah. I have to change my tune in my head of I have to prioritize time to meal plan, or what would I like to eat in the coming weeks or whatever. Like, we're going to think about, let's say on a Sunday, we're going to think about next week and how many meals we want to make. And now I can go into because I have websites that I favorited or I kept up that have great recipes on them, that I'm always like, I'll cook this one day, and then it just sits there.
Happens, yeah.
But now I'm adding it into our Resimi, and we have a window, and we're building our own, essentially, HelloFresh catalog of things. We don't get the neat card, like Jess said, but it's still a nice compromise, and we're saving money in this regard. Her and I enjoy the process of working together, going to the grocery store. It was easier when the kids were little because we just said, that's what you're eating, deal with it. That's what you're eating. Now they're a lot bigger, and
I'll say that's the other con. It was just like when I was meal planning, I had the same frustration when they didn't like the HelloFresh meal. You know what I mean?
It's almost worse because you went out of your way, you paid for a service, you ordered a thing, you thought this was going to be cool, and then the kids are like, "Nah,
so
we don't like that."
We don't like that.
But we also were doing the vegetarian and vegan. I wonder if we did the protein, like the meat, the carnivorous, because they are here home more than the vegan was.
Yeah.
So if we maybe did the carnivorous meals, that maybe it would have.
Yeah, vegan. You're never home.
that would have been better, So either way, though, it was a good experience. If you can afford it, I would recommend HelloFresh. I wouldn't mind trying Factor, just like you said, even twice a week or something for those really busy days.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that we might utilize more once it's just you and I. Right now with the kids here, I don't know. For now, Resimi is going to work for me, and maybe a Factor or some other one. What do you guys have a service that you use? What do you recommend? Something? Have you tried something? What was your experience with HelloFresh? If you tried HelloFresh or even Factor,
Are you still using it?
Yeah. Anybody out there with a family? How do you solve your family problems when it comes to meal planning? But what would you do? Do you have any ideas to share with us? I'd love to hear them. Well, thanks for watching this episode and our HelloFresh meal.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed watching us make black bean burritos and green pepper, black bean and green pepper burritos. And also, discussing our experience with HelloFresh and those few meals, and why we've decided to move on to something else.
Check out Resimi if you're interested. I'd recommend it.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Are you still using HelloFresh? Have you ever tried Resimi? Have you heard of it? And otherwise, thanks for watching this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bon appetit.
Auf Wiedersehen.